Pilots reported a human figure flying beside their aircraft at nearly 2,000 feet, without a jet, without wings, and without anything that should keep a person in the sky. This is the true mystery of the man now known as Jetpack Guy, a figure so strange, so impossible, and so thoroughly unexplained that even the FBI admits they cannot determine if he was human, mechanical, or something else entirely. It all began on August 30th, 2020. Just after sunset, an American Airlines pilot was descending into Los Angeles International Airport when he saw something that left him speechless. He radioed the tower and said, "Tower, we just passed a guy in a jetpack." The plane was at 3,000 feet. Nothing commercial, military, or experimental could reach that altitude at the time. Before the tower could respond, a Southwest pilot confirmed the same thing. They both saw a human figure in a dark jumpsuit hovering upright, drifting past their wings with no signs of propulsion, no flames, no noise. But what shocked investigators most is what radar showed. Nothing. No drone, no aircraft, no object of any kind. As far as the system was concerned, the sky was empty. And yet 2 trained pilots saw the same thing at the same moment. When the recordings were reviewed later, the controllers quietly said the words that became infamous, "Only in LA." Experts tried to explain the sighting, but every explanation collapsed immediately. Jetpacks available in 2020 could barely reach 1,000 feet for 30 seconds. They shook violently, burned fuel fast, and left bright combustion trails. But this figure moved smoothly, calmly, without vibration or visible thrust. NASA engineers reviewed the testimony and said the movement pattern didn't match jetpacks, drones, or any known aircraft. One pilot's written report said, "It looked like he was standing on invisible ground." Most sightings end after the first incident, not this one. 60 days later, on October 14th, 2020, another crew, this time from China Airlines, reported the same figure at an impossible altitude, 6,000 feet. That meant someone had doubled their altitude in 2 months, using technology that still doesn't exist today. And this time, the figure appeared directly in an international flight path. Security teams swept the area, but once again, they found nothing. No launch point, no landing point, no drone parts, no fuel traces, nothing. If that were the end of it, this story would already be strange enough. But it became far stranger. Nearly a year after the second sighting, on July 28, 2021, another pilot saw the figure again, this time almost colliding with their aircraft. The pilot radioed in, "We just flew past the jetpack guy again." Within minutes, an LAPD helicopter was scrambled, and this time, for the first time ever, they caught footage. But what the video showed was not a jetpack, not a drone, not anything that fits into human engineering. It showed a human-shaped figure, motionless in midair, floating like a mannequin suspended by an invisible wire, except there were no wires, no balloon. And the figure appeared to adjust position deliberately, as if aware of the helicopter filming it. The object didn't tumble or sway like something being carried by the wind. It remained upright, perfectly balanced. Aviation specialists reviewed the footage and concluded that the object's stability pattern did not match any known flight system, man-made or natural. But the detail almost no one knows came from the airport itself. Sometime after the third sighting, airport security reported an encounter almost as bizarre as the sky sightings. Cameras inside a restricted maintenance hallway picked up a man walking calmly through the area wearing a black jumpsuit, aviation-style gloves, and carrying a helmet under his arm. He showed no ID. He walked through a zone that required 2 badge scans, and he moved with complete confidence like he belonged there. But when guards arrived less than a minute later, he had vanished. The hallway he entered led to a locked emergency exit door. Behind that door was nothing except a 150-foot drop above an active runway. The door had never been opened. Yet the man on camera never came back in the opposite direction. It was as if he walked into a dead end and simply disappeared. When investigators enhanced the footage, they noticed something unsettling. Before the man turned the corner, he looked directly into the camera, not with confusion or fear, but with awareness, almost like he wanted them to see him. Theories exploded online. Some claimed he was operating a humanoid drone, but aviation engineers pointed out that no drone in existence has the power, altitude capability, or flight stability of what pilots saw. Others suggested U.S. military technology, but no test program would ever risk running a classified device next to commercial aircraft. And if it were military, the FBI wouldn't respond with public uncertainty. They would deny, deflect, or classify, not look confused. Then there was the balloon theory, the idea that someone had released a mannequin attached to balloons, but the object flew against heavy winds, rose to 6,000 feet, and maneuvered with intention. Balloons spin wildly, drift unpredictably, and lose stability. This figure didn't move like something floating. It moved like something watching. One theory that investigators discussed privately is the one that stayed out of headlines. The idea that the figure in the sky and the man in the maintenance hallway might not have been different people. In fact, the FBI's internal memo mentioned a phrase quietly used by the team analyzing the sightings. They called it the observer pattern. According to leaked notes, investigators believed that whatever was in the sky wasn't interfering with aircraft. It was studying them, observing flight paths, descent angles, pilot behavior, and environmental conditions, and the pattern was consistent across every sighting. The figure appeared close enough for pilots to see but far enough to avoid contact, like someone gathering data. The memo also noted something chilling. Each appearance happened during transitional light, sunrise or sunset, when it would be hardest for pilots to determine exact shape, motion, or distance. Whoever or whatever was there understood human perception well enough to exploit it. The case officially closed without explanation. The FBI quietly stepped away. The FAA stopped giving updates, and pilots who spoke publicly were encouraged to move on. But the sightings never fully stopped. More pilots have anonymously reported the same figure floating thousands of feet up, always hovering, always observing, always gone by the time anyone gets close. And then there's the question no one can answer. If the man in the airport footage wasn't a trespasser and wasn't a stunt pilot, then why did he appear in a restricted zone wearing the exact kind of gear witnesses described in the sky? The most unsettling possibility is also the simplest. He didn't need a jetpack because he wasn't using one. The propulsion, the stability, the altitude, none match anything we can build. And the fact that he let pilots see him suggests it wasn't an accident. The deeper mystery isn't how he flew. It's why he allowed himself to be seen near one of the busiest airports in the world. Was he signaling something, testing something, or simply waiting for the right moment to appear again? Because if a human figure can float thousands of feet in the air without detection, if he can slip through a secured airport hallway and vanish, if he can show up, observe, and disappear without a trace, then you have to ask yourself one final question. If he chose to appear 3 times, he could appear again anytime. Who do you think he was? Leave your comment and subscribe for more stories like this one.